Hello everybody, it's CraftyRia and I am back. I've been making quite a fine mess today and I wanted to share with you my mess. It will be a while before I post this video because what I'm doing is a surprise for somebody. So, but I decided I would show you how I mass produce some invitations. So first of all, I just wanted to say I was doing some heat embossing, so I had to dig out my heat gun. And I always think of my dear friend Cindy, because she made this for me back in 2002. It says CraftyRia 2002, and it's got Tigger. I love Tigger, and my email address is CraftyRia. And that used to be my crafty name on the Crafty Friends group that we were in. And I've since been called CraftyRia. But anyway, this is back from 2002. It's got Tigger, and it's this great tube. And inside, she sent me a heat gun because I had said I had never done heat embossing, and I really wanted to try it. So she was nice enough to send this to me. I've had it ever since, same heat gun. I keep it stored in here, and every time I take it out, I think of Cindy. So I just wanted to say that. She's very artistic, and she's pretty awesome. Okay, so my mother-in-law and my father-in-law's 50th wedding anniversary is at the end of November, and we're having a surprise party for them. And obviously I'm the crafty one in the family, so I'll be doing the invitations. And so I wanted to show you what I came up with. I wanted to use some stuff that I already had in my stash to try to get some use out of the things that I have. So I found these two stamps. This was an unmounted rubber stamp that I had in my stash for years, and I thought it was really pretty because it's two hearts together, just like them. And then this was a stamp that I got from, I think, a set from Big Lots. Very inexpensive. I've had it forever. And this really thin red rubber, it had come off, you can see it's peeling off, it had come off the back. It would not stay on the back. But I decided I wanted to do something different with it anyway, so I went ahead and peeled it off the back and I trimmed it. And then I added just some foam tape to the back of it. I wanted to make both of these the same width because I'm going to mass produce these. So I decided that I would use my Tim Holtz stamping platform, and so I could put them on once and stamp it a whole bunch of times rather than have to, you know, try to line it up each time. So I wanted these to be the same thickness. So first I tried one piece of this foam tape and it was not thick enough. So I put a second piece of the foam tape, and I had to do, you can see the seam, I had to do two pieces. So on both of them I made sure the seam was not in the same place. The seam on the bottom piece is over here and the seam on the top piece is here because I didn't want any wrinkles in the stamp. So I went ahead and did that, and I guess I had inadvertently cut the corner of that eye off when I was doing this, the bottom of that eye, but I fixed it, and I'll show you what I've done to fix it. So when I put the two pieces of foam on here, it was then thicker than this. So I took this piece of scrap cardboard and I ended up putting two pieces on the back of this. This is just an unmounted wood rubber stamp. And I put two pieces of that cardboard on there. And I know you experienced stampers are cringing because I'm doing crazy things, but you know, sometimes it's kind of fun to do something a little crazy. So anyway, I had last week, I went ahead and stamped one up kind of as a rough copy to kind of see what I was going to do, see if I liked it. I didn't have those yet. I have this ribbon from the Dollar Tree that it's in the Christmas section, and I have a whole bunch of these white flowers and these gems. So I thought that would go really good as the front. And I found this pack of cards at Joann.com. There's 10 different designs and there's 4 of each. I figure we're going to send maybe around 20 to 25 invitations, so I've got plenty to work with. So I went ahead and took them out, one of each, and I'm going to move that flower off. And I laid them on each one to see what ones I liked. So I like it on that one. And there's, like I said, there's 4 of each. So I need, you know, at least 5 or 6 that I like. So I like that. And I thought I liked it on that one too. And it's not too bad on the dots either. I thought I could use that one in a pinch if I needed it. And I like it on that a lot. And then, yeah, I like that one too. That looks really good. And this one says hello, but that doesn't matter because you could just put that right in the middle. I like that as well. If I did it on this one, I might even put a piece of gold behind this to show. And I don't think, the hello sort of shows in the middle, but I have a plan for the middle I'll show you. This one I did not like it on because there's just not enough behind it. And this one doesn't line up so good. I guess I could probably put it over this way if I wanted to. If I needed extra, that could be an emergency backup. And I really like it on that one. That might be actually my favorite. And then this flower I thought was kind of pretty. And I can also use some of these designs I'm going to be making a scrapbook. So I can also use some of these designs in the scrapbook as punch outs or something like that, or just use them as cards for something, another project, if I have any left over. I'm sure I'll have some left over because I think we're only sending out about 25. So anyway, that's my inspiration for this card. Okay, so what I decided to do, I took the flower off. I never really glued it on, but I've got that. I took the flower off and I got my stamp platform now that I made both of these the same size. I got out my Versamark pad and I took my Versamark refill and I juiced it up really good because it's been a long time since I've done embossing. So I wanted to make sure my pad was not dry. Then I have this Mirror Gold embossing powder. I think I got this a long time ago from, oh, his name escapes me, Michael Strong Rubber Stamps. It comes out, it's a really pretty gold. And I just happen to have that in my stash. And then I have this little scoop. I'm not sure what it's from. It's from like Splenda or something like that, where you only need a tiny bit in your coffee or whatever. Someone had sent this to me. It might have been Cindy, but it's perfect to dish out the embossing powder, also for glitter or anything like that. And then I have this embossing tray. You can see I've done some, and it's great because it contains all of the mess. So I'll put these over here. You can see I've done a whole bunch, and then I've decided I should stop and show you what I'm doing. So the cards measure, they're the typical cards, they measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm cutting these an inch smaller. I'm cutting them at 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So they're an inch smaller. So there's plenty of gold edging on this side. I thought that would be pretty. I can get 4 of them from an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of just regular white cardstock, the kind you get at the office supply section, nothing fancy. So I cut out 28 of them. So I'd have extras in case I messed up. I hate once I get into a project, I have to stop and do, you know, cut more out or whatever. So I have plenty. If I have some left over, I can always cut these hearts out and use it in their scrapbook or something like that. So I took my original prototype and my stamp platform, and I have it on, the stamp platform is really cool because you can use it for clear stamps or rubber stamps. Now, when they say rubber stamps, they mean the really big fat rubber stamps on the foam backing. And these are more of the thickness of clear stamps. They're not on that big, nice foam padding. So I used the clear. I tried both, but the other side did not work. So in order to use clear, it's going to say clear here where you can read it. As you can see, rubber, you can't read that. It's upside down. And then it comes with these two magnets to hold your paper. So I'm going to get a tissue. I have some embossing ink on here, and I don't want to get it on my cardstock. All right. Like I said, I was halfway through the project when I decided that I would show you what I'm doing. So I line it up down here rather than in the corner. I feel you don't get a good impression in the corner just because it's the way it folds down, it ends up being too tight. So I line it up with the bottom of this here, and then I put one of the doohickeys, magnets on there. And then I'm going to take the You're Invited and I'm going to just lay it right on top of where I want it on my cardstock. And I want to make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. And then I'm going to take the hearts and lay it on the top. Oh, first I need to put some adhesive on the back of them. And don't worry about it. The adhesive will stick really good to this, but it also peels off really easy. And then I'm going to make sure I have it right side up, and I'm going to just put that where I want it to. All right. So I've got them set where I want it to be, and then I'm going to push this down, and they both stick to that. And then I'm going to take this off. I want to make sure I don't have any embossing ink on my hands. And I have somewhere a little pouncer where you can get all the static off or whatever, but I looked all over for it and I cannot find it. So I'm making do without it. And it seemed to work okay for me up till this point. So then I have my embossing ink, and I'm going to just get my stamps really wet. And then I always like to check it kind of at an angle to make sure, because you can't really see that ink, but you can see that it's wet on there. And then you just bring it down and you just push really hard. And you can squeeze it and push on it. This table is not the best to push it on because the table gives. It works better if you have a hard surface. And you carefully lift it up. And I don't know if you can see that on camera, but you can kind of see, I can see it here, that it looks just wet where the stuff was. And for that bottom of the eye, what I did was I took this piece of vinyl, just because it's a non-porous surface, and I squeezed out a dollop of this. This is the Versamark refill, and I just squeezed out just a little piece. I have somewhere in my stash of a world a clear embossing pen, but this one's bright green, and I kind of didn't want to use it. And I have this paintbrush, and I also have this tool. I think this tool ends up, this little embossing tool ends up working. So I just get the tip wet, and then I just go in and just barely touch it on the bottom corner of that eye. And what's funny is it almost looks like a heart when it's done. So I think it worked out okay after all. And then I take this, and I'm going to go ahead and close this down just to get it out of my way because I'm on camera, so I'm putting this there so I don't get embossing ink all over the place. And then I go ahead and emboss this with the embossing powder. Once I get a bunch in the tray, I just do it this way. And of course, I had a little stuff on my fingers. So if you get some extra embossing powder on the card, you can always do that. Some of the letters didn't come out so good, so there. Put a little extra on there. When I'm done with this video, I'll wash my hands really good because I think I have some embossing powder on, or some embossing ink on my hands. But anyway, you get the idea. So what I usually do when I'm making a bunch at once, I'll make up a whole bunch of these and just kind of lay them out all over my table and then come back and emboss them all at the same time. But for the sake of video, I'm not going to make you watch me do 100 of them. And I usually just put something down to hold the paper and just use the heat gun. And that's really kind of cool. There we go. It just, once it gets hot, it just makes it all nice and shiny. Okay. And it goes a little faster if you have a like a cookie sheet or something metal that you put this on, because it'll get the bottom of the paper hot as well and it'll emboss much faster. So the bottom of that eye I think looks kind of cute. It comes out like a little heart, so it's not that bad. I was able to take a bad situation and make it better. And then on this one, that D didn't come out so good, so I could always go over with my paintbrush with a dab more of the embossing ink. Just dot that up so as not to waste this one. There. And then hit it with the embossing gun again. There. There. See, that worked out pretty good. And that way I was able to use things that were in my stash. I didn't have to go out and buy anything special really for these cards. I did buy these. But that also saves me a lot of work, so I don't have to hand make my own envelopes, and then I don't have to make all my own card bases, and that adds some gold to the card base as well. So then I would have the gold. I don't think I have it handy. I have everything else handy. Hello, that's my head. You don't want to see that. All right, anyway, then I'll take this ribbon and put the ribbon on there and put the flower on there, and then that's it. We've got ourselves an invitation. So then what I was planning on doing for the inside is I will go ahead and print the you know, information, the goodies on just some regular paper. Cut the paper this size, fold it in half, and then add some gold string along the side, tie it in, and I'll probably tape it down on this side but leave that side loose. So especially on the one that says hello, it would cover that up. So that's it, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it inspires you to make some invitations for an event and or mass produce some cards and get a whole bunch done at once. You guys take care. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy what you see, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment in the comments below. I really like to read your comments. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.